Oops. Wrong button. Full screen. All right, let me go. It's 20 seconds, so we'll just go into it. Some good music. Hope I don't get copyright struck.
For generations, the Dragon Lords ruled over Tarkir, crushing the once great clans under Talon and Fang. But now, the winds have changed, and a new age approaches. Together, the 5 clans sought to take back the skies by harnessing the power of the spirit dragons.
Yeah, this is pretty good.
But it was a power they could not fully comprehend. The skies darken with a new threat to Tarkir. It will take the combined might of the 5 clans to face what's coming. Sultai, Mardu, Abzan, Timur, Jeskai. Let those who summon the storm be the ones to break it.
You know, I bet the Magic universe would make a pretty badass
Tarkir Dragonstorm is a new set that
open
will
world
transport
RPG.
players to a plane they may have visited before. One filled with action, danger, and above all, dragons. Tarkir can be unforgiving. Storms full of wild dragons tear apart the land, while the different human clans
Give
vie
it
for
to
supremacy
Larian, who made
and try
Baldur's
to
Gate.
survive their harsh climate. But this harsh environment has given rise to heroes. Whether dragon or humanoid, they prove equal to the challenges of Tarkir. A return to Tarkir would be impossible without addressing the most prominent spirit dragon, Ugin. While Ugin, Eye of the Storms, was present on Tarkir, he reinforced and empowered the Dragonstorms, allowing the dragon's numbers to grow. But when Ugin departed to save the multiverse, the Dragonstorms began to weaken. The subsequent invasion by New Phyrexia chipped away at the Dragon Lord's already dwindling strength and allowed the humanoid rebellions to gain traction. The past and present collide as 5 clans re-emerge out of the humanoid rebellion.
Oh,
Their khans finally succeed in toppling the Dragon Lords by summoning spirit dragons to aid them.
a good
Unfortunately,
land.
the spirit dragons came with fearsome, wild dragons spawned from the storm as well. They fill the skies of Tarkir, threatening the 5 clans and the multiverse beyond. These dragon storms brought fearsome dragons to planes that were unprepared for them, wreaking havoc and demanding a response. And if there's one planeswalker who responds when the multiverse is in danger, it's Elspeth, Stormslayer. Following her
gonna
ascension
be really
to
good.
Archangel during the Phyrexian invasion, Elspeth has been tracking dragon storms through the Omen paths. She arrives on Tarkir,
Ooh,
having
that looks
found the
really
source of the
good.
storms at last. But
Oh,
she
I love
quickly
the little
realizes
white
that
spirit
she won't be able
dragons.
to stop
Okay.
them alone. Narset, Jeskai Waymaster, is a former planeswalker who has risen to the head of her clan and spearheaded the summoning of the spirit dragons.
Yeah, in a few weeks. Like
Narset
2 weeks.
agrees to join Elspeth out of a desire to unite her plane. But the duo face a difficult obstacle in their quest to save Tarkir. Another planeswalker, Sarkhan Vol, is intent on stopping them. Sarkhan, with his profound attachment to dragons, seeks to preserve the Dragonstorms. And he's not alone. Sarkhan is joined by an army of wild dragons,
Feral
all with
Deathgorger?
the same mission. Elspeth and Narset must overcome nearly insurmountable odds if they want to unite Tarkir and prevent the Dragonstorms from destroying all that they hold dear. All this dragon violence has imbued the essence of Dragonfire into the land of Tarkir itself, forming Mox Jasper. This
That card,
potent card
that's gonna be
can
the chase
used
right
to
there.
power a whole battlefield of fierce winged creatures.
That's gonna be the chase.
Like the rest of Tarkir, the mechanics in this set will be a mix of familiar and reinvented. Behold is a new mechanic, which rewards players for their dragons. To behold a dragon, choose a dragon you control or reveal a dragon from your hand, and doing so gains an additional effect when casting the card. When Sarkhan, Dragon Ascendant, beholds a dragon, you may create a treasure token. Similar to how the adventure mechanic worked in Eldraine,
Outside of a few decks, basically
Omen
dragons.
lets you play the instant or sorcery side of the spell before shuffling it back into your library. If you're able to draw it again later, repeat the process or cast the creature side instead. Cards with Renew can be exiled from your graveyard in order to put a counter on another creature you control. Renewing applies part of the original creature's ability onto a new target before leaving the game. Flurry is an ability which allows a permanent to gain an additional effect whenever you cast your second spell each turn. In this case, Equilibrium Adept gains double strike until the end of the turn. Mobilize allows you to increase your forces in an instant. This effect creates an amount of tapped and attacking 1/1 Red Warrior creature tokens, which are sacrificed at the beginning of the next end step. Hybrid Mana gives you the option to pay a higher colorless amount if you're missing a color source in the casting cost. With Rakshasa's Bargain, you can either pay black, green, and blue, or use 2 colorless mana to replace any of those pips. You can pay 3, 4, 5, or 6 mana, depending on your combinations. The choice is yours. Sieges were a card cycle in Khans of Tarkir, and this set is bringing them back with a twist. Each clan is represented by 3 colors of mana, but these sieges only use 2. This can leave you with flexibility about which side you'll join. For example, here during the Frostcliff siege, you can choose white for Jeskai and go wide looking to draw cards, or go green for Temur and buff your creatures for immediate attacking. But be warned, once they hit the battlefield,
I
you
like
must
that.
declare your allegiance.
That art
And
is
speaking
good.
of choosing between the clans, the 5 clans of Tarkir have weathered Dragonstorms and changes to their timelines to emerge with new strength. Each clan features a combination of old and new elements that will feel both familiar and refreshing. No longer under the thrall of the Dragon Lords, these clans have each appointed a humanoid leader, but they have also each found a dragon representative of their guiding ethos. The Abzan are a clan empowered by their connection with their ancestors' spirits. Their Khan leader, Felothar, maintains this connection through sacred kin trees, which link them to their predecessors. One familiar face is Anafenza. Found wandering the Abzan territories, this powerful remnant of an older Tarkir protects the clan from danger. Her card features the Endure mechanic, which lets you choose between +1/+1 counters, or a spirit token to remember the legacy of fallen friends. Beitor, kin to all, is the ultimate expression of the Abzan's ancestry, a collective consciousness made up of all Abzan past and present. This dragon is able to solve problems by drawing on a vast collection of knowledge and memories, making them invaluable to the reconstituted Abzan.
Each opponent
However,
loses half their life
Beitor
rounded
may
up.
also be self-contradicting,
Jeez.
as the many voices that make up this dragon do not always agree. The Jeskai are a clan known for their monk practitioners of the Way, who seek to achieve peace through unity. Divided amongst 3 primary monasteries, the Jeskai are devoted to using their knowledge of the past and belief in the Way to bring their plane together.
Are they making dumb
They are
cards
led
like
by
that?
the former
How dare you?
planeswalker Narset, who is seen here discovering lost knowledge in the Jeskai archives, and using that magic to summon the spirit dragons
Oh, I like
to
both
defeat
of
the
those
Dragon
arts.
Lords. She knows that her clan is key to tackling the threat of the Dragonstorms. Shiko, Paragon of the Way, shares the Jeskai's vision of a unified Tarkir. She keeps an eye on Jeskai territory, offering advice and stepping in when needed. A fitting dragon for a collection of wise and thoughtful practitioners. She seeks to understand the goals, beliefs, and actions of others in order to best fulfill her role of guiding them towards the way. Technologically advanced nomadic warriors, the Mardu meet any challengers with an all-out assault. The Mardu field
+1
armies
and
of
have death touch.
lightning-wielding fighters and archers
Oh, and an extra.
to the chagrin
Oh.
of their enemies.
Oh.
This mighty army is led and coordinated by their great Khan.
Oh my god, that card is
Stormrender.
ridiculous.
The Mardu were exhausted and weakened by the Dragon Lords and multiversal invasions of the past few years. But they have been reinvigorated by the spirit dragon Nerev, Heart of the Storm. He is the marshal of their forces, leading them into battle against the other clans and anyone else who might stand in their way. The Sultai clan dwell deep within the jungles of
Snack.
Tarkir. They survive by nurturing both the living through their efficient farms and the dead through their equally efficient necromancers. The Sultai have a deep respect and connection with both the living and the dead. The returned dead are given positions of honor and leadership, not servitude. With their stealth and cunning, the Sultai are not to be trifled with. Sidisi is a powerful Naga who has risen through the ranks of her people in each version of Tarkir. Originally a Khan of the Sultai, Sidisi's authority came from being a vizier for the Dragon Lord Silumgar. Now that the old Dragon Lords, including Silumgar, have fallen, Sidisi has found a new path to power. She rules over the northern swamps as a terrifying undead being. Once an unassuming human farmer, Kotis, the Fangkeeper, led his village in the rebellion against Silumgar. Never wanting to be a warrior or leader, Kotis was partially responsible for Sidisi's fall. Though he was killed in the Phyrexian invasion, his people could not do without him. They revived him in a necromantic ritual and reinstated him as leader, a position he holds still. Teval is a symbol for the Sultai's rejection of the old ways. The tyranny of Silumgar has no place in their new way of being. Instead, Teval acts as an impartial judge, maintaining balance and arbitrating the clan's conflicts impartially. The Temur are adapted to live in the freezing cold and work alongside their animal companions.
Aminals.
This clan has an advantage over others in the form of their Whisperers, who utilize the spirits of the land to predict the future. In their wisdom, the Whisperers have also selected the Temur's
Snowmelt
current leader,
Stag.
Eshki Dragonclaw. Ureni, the Song Unending, was brought
Protection
forth
from
to
white and black.
reconnect the Temur to the land they relied upon. Deeply invested in the clan and the well-being of the land, Ureni provides counsel and guidance to the Temur, working and
God.
living closest with their Whispers. Ureni also acts as fearsome protector of both the Temur Whisperers and of the Temur lands as a whole. Their signature spell lets you send away uninvited creatures back to where they came from. It also features the Harmonize mechanic, which allows you to recast it from your graveyard by tapping into the powers of your clan. Craterhoof Behemoth is an exciting reprint. This beast emphasizes that the dragons, the Dragonstorms, and other clans are not the only dangers players will face on Tarkir.
Crater hoof.
As Eshki
Gross.
Dragonclaw of the Temur clan says, some days you wish you were fighting a dragon. Tarkir Dragonstorm features a commander deck for each of the 5 clans. These decks will spotlight the humanoid leaders of the clans, as well as their spirit dragon allies. This white-black-green commander deck is led by the Khan of the Obzon clan, Felothar the Steadfast. As a mighty warrior and leader of her people, Felothar turns your toughness into
Ass
vicious attack
blasters!
power. To the Obzon, the best offense
Ass
is often a good
blasters!
defense. If you enlist Baator, Ancestor's voice as your commander, Utilize life gain and life loss to buff your creatures and return them from the graveyard. Fitting for the spirit dragon who operates as a combined consciousness of Abzan past and present. The blue-red-white commander deck of the Jeskai clan is led by Shiko and Narset unified. A combination of the Jeskai clan's legendary leader and their newly incarnated dragon.
That ass blaster
This
deck's gonna be
rapid-fire duo
strong.
doubles your spells and
I'm gonna have to
stocks up on
upgrade.
card draw. Elsha, Threefold Master, is another powerful commander
I like
in the
the art on
Jeskai
that.
clan. Utilizing the monastic discipline of the Jeskai,
I thought that said Dijon.
this deck allows you to focus your flurries on multiple targets, boost your attackers, and leave nothing standing in your way. The black-green-blue commander deck of the Sultai brings the deadly cunning of this clan to bear on your enemies. Fill your graveyard to provide yourself with bonus mana and an army of zombie druids. Tival, the balanced scale, raises the dead to fight again.
Dijon
While
Monkster.
Tival may largely serve as an arbitrating force for Clan Sultai, the mighty dragon is not above assisting them by reviving Sultai warriors from beyond the grave. Kotis, Sibsig champion, is one such undead member of the Clan Sultai. He continues to serve his people even after death, leading their undead armies to victory. The Mardu electrify the battlefield with this red-white-black commander deck. Boost your token production to burn bright and
Rocks.
fast, then gain more rewards when they burn out. Another rebel against the Dragon Lords, the Orc warrior once known as Zergo Bellstriker, successfully led his people against the Dragon Lord Kolaghan. Renamed Zergo Stormrender, he currently leads the Mardu against any other threats that dare to cross their path. Zergo has a powerful ally in the mighty dragon Nereeve, Crackling Vanguard. He represents the spirit of the Mardu, swift,
Oh, yeah.
powerful,
So many
and willing
Najila
to
stuff.
strike at a moment's notice. The teamer draw on the power of the land to fuel
We're gonna have
the
to do some
green-blue
updating.
red deck, which builds up mana early before filling the board with formidable creatures and bumping up their stats. Eshki, Teamer's Roar, was a skilled hunter and wrestler during the reign of the Dragon Lords, but the Phyrexian invasion forced her to take up the reins of leadership. Eventually, Eshki was named Dragonclaw. With the blessing of the Temur
Oh, I
Whisperers
like
and
that.
their new dragon ally, Ureni of the Unwritten,
That
the
art is
Temur clan
sick.
is teaming up with the dragons of Tarkir to deliver death on swift wings. Ramp until you cast Ureni to summon a flight of dragons to descend upon your opponents. This set wouldn't be complete without a few exciting new card treatments. The thing about Dragonstorms
There
is
they
that
are.
they're full of dragons. Dragon's Eye basic lands combine mana with the might to give an up-close and personal perspective on Tarkir's dragons. Ghostfire
Oh,
and Halo Foil Ghostfire. The Elder Dragon Ugin's influence over Tarkir
Oh.
is manifest in new Ghostfire cards. Special art and card frames imbued with Ugin's
Oh.
ethereal presence. We've brought back the Halo Foil treatment on Ghostfire cards, giving these already
Oh.
stunning cards an extra flourish.
oh.
Borderless reversible cards. Deadly dragons can have a cute side, even Ugin, with 6 new borderless reversible cards, each featuring a fearsome and adorable version
What
of your
the fuck?
favorite winged creatures. Borderless clan cards. Battle
Oh.
alongside Temur, Jeskai, Abzan, Sultai, Mardu with borderless clan cards. Special treatments that unite each of the 5 clans across 57 cards. Draconic cards. Add some dragons to your collection with new
Oh,
Draconic
that's
cards,
fucking
a flight of
sick.
powerful dragons and new thematic art and card frames. This set is full of familiar elements that have been thoughtfully refreshed, and that extends to other classic cards as well. Keep an eye out for this set's reprints of the legendary Ultimatum cards. Eerie Ultimatum, Emergent Ultimatum, Genesis Ultimatum, Inspired Ultimatum, and Ruinous Ultimatum. These powerful cards require 7 colored mana each, but they are worth it, with effects that can devastatingly alter the course of a game. This set also includes a beautiful series of fetch lands appearing in the special guest slot: Marsh Flats, Scalding Tarn, Verdant Catacombs, Arid Mesa, and Misty Rainforest. These enemy color fetches bring unrivaled flexibility to your decks, powering all your favorite strategies no matter which clan claims your allegiance. Get your hands on new textured dragon scale foil fetch lands that bring
those
Tarkir
are
to
so
life
good.
exclusively in collector boosters, making them the perfect addition when enhancing your library. You could also be one of only 500 people in the world to
Those are gonna
open
be
an
so
exclusive
expensive.
serialized Mox Jasper card, rare even in Tarkir. Tarkir is now bigger and bolder than ever, filled with cinematic action, dynamic clan gameplay, and powerful new dragons that add lasting firepower to your collection. You can play early at your local game store for pre-release, starting the weekend of April 4th,
I'm
and
doing
on
one of
Arena
those.
April 8th. Otherwise, Tarkir Dragonstorm will be available everywhere April 11th. And if you'd like to learn more about Elspeth and Narset's battle to contain the multiversal Dragonstorms and defeat Sarkhan Vol, you can read the full story online now. Get ready for the new age of Tarkir. Join your clan. Break the storm.
Those are sick. Yeah, those are good. Those are all, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. I just ordered a box.
Hello and welcome to the weekly MTG After Show. We just saw 20 minutes of so much Tarkir Dragonstorm, so much cool stuff, and we're going to spend the next hour kind of doing the same thing. We're going to dive deep into some of what we just saw. We're going to reveal some new cards as well. And we're going to spend some time talking about all of it with our two fantastic guests. So we have Jadine and Lauren. Why don't you introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about
I'm using
what
all money
you
from
did
streaming
for Tarkir Dragonstorm.
for this. So
Yeah, I'm Jane.
all your subs go to
worked
buying
on
cards.
The game design and the play design parts of the set, getting the
And
right
opening them
numbers
on
on the
stream.
cards, figuring out how everything could be the most fun, and some of the final mechanical changes to the cards.
I'm Lauren. I was the narrative lead on this set, and so responsible for a lot of our world building updates, working alongside our consultants,
Nikki
and
Kitty.
kind of at the card level,
Hi.
getting the cool pictures of art alongside our art directors onto
Hi,
each card.
Nikki Kitty.
Yeah, and
Meow.
chat was going nuts, rightfully so,
Say
over some
meow.
of those treatments. So we are going to spend some time talking about that as well. We're going to talk about mechanics. We're going to talk about world building. We're going to reveal some previews that we just felt like showing off because we like them. We're going to talk about play promos. There's a secret layer. We're going to talk. We got so much we're going to pack into an hour. We are just going to get going. We're going to lead off by diving a little bit deeper into the mechanics, complete with our first preview card and a character we all know and hate. We've got Tygum, Master Opportunist. So we've got a 2/2 human monk here for 2 mana. Hey, that's a good deal. With Flurry. JD, what is Flurry and what's it doing in this set?
Yeah, so Flurry
You
is
bought
the
3?
clan mechanic for the Jeskai. It is an ability word that just means you get something when you cast 2 spells. So original Cons of Tarkir, Prowess was the mechanic, care about casting a lot of spells. Here we've said, all right, 2's the number. Get good at double spelling, do it as much as possible, we'll reward you.
And the reward here is
just
kind
bought
of
one.
wild.
Yes, this is a very cool card. I might say this a few times today, but this is one of Play Design's favorite cards from the set, just
Yep.
a card that people loved playing with and play testing with and thought was just so much fun. You get your cards more. You get copy the spell, so you'll get it right now when your second spell. 4 turns later, you get it again. And that sounds cool, but if you start thinking about it, once you get that card again, it gets really easy to double spell every single turn. You'll get to a point where you have multiple cards on suspend, and you're just kind of like, oh wow, I'm doing this automatically. It just really pops off. It's very cool.
Great.
I think
And
I
Lauren,
also...
yeah,
I was gonna say, I
what's
love
Tygum
how
up
this-
to?
He's up to his old nonsense again. So in the original set, like the very first time we see him, he's a defector from the Jeskai into the Sultai, and then like he isn't. And the next time we see in dragons. And so we kind of wanted to play a little bit that. If you read the fiction, you'll see a little bit more of what he's up to. But I also love that this mechanic both leans into his very plotting side and also the kind of time shenanigan weirdness of his character.
Yeah, and JD, we're not seeing other suspends.
No, the clan mechanic here is Flurry. This is the only suspend card.
All right. Next up, let's take a look at this Borderless Clan card. So we saw, again, this treatment in the debut. It's really striking. Striking, that's not an intended pun, but we're going to go with it.
That's a sick card.
Yeah, looks fantastic. We're going to talk a little bit later about where and in what packs you can find all of these treatments. Next, let's move on to Mobilize. JD, tell us about this mechanic.
Yeah, so this is the Mardu mechanic. Mobilize is just a keyword ability for your creatures. When you attack with them, you get a tapped and attacking 1/1. There's a parameter there. This card has Mobilize 1. There are higher Mobilize numbers in the set, and those will create more tokens, not bigger tokens. So
okay.
Mobilize 2, you'd make 2 1/1s tapped and attacking. They go away at the end of the turn.
It's because they sold out.
So clearly some aggressive applications, but it was really fun designing this, figuring out all the other things you can do with temporary 1/1s that aren't just getting more damage in. So there's a lot of really cool stuff here.
Yeah, and we've seen, Mardu has always been about attacking, so having the mechanic be based on attacking makes a ton of sense. How did you land on this token creating take on Mardu?
Yeah, going wide is just kind of like a key thing that we wanted somewhere for one of the clans. Mardu made a lot of sense. Needing to find an aggressive element for a clan to have and an identity to have that would also have some cool synergy applications so that it wouldn't be too fast and that the dragons also will get to shine and we're not being just beaten too fast in games of limited.
All right, let's continue on and take a look at Renew. So this is Agent of Codus, 2/1, 1 blue for a human rogue. It has Renew, 3 and a blue. Exile this from your graveyard. Put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, JD, Renew.
Yeah, graveyard relevant ability, very fitting for the Sultai. Just kind of make your creature stronger most of the time. I'll mention that this is not always +1/+1 counters, but it is always counters. So there are other ways to use this, and we'll see them someday.
Yeah, and I think in the debut, the counters, there was like Death Touch, Lifelink counters, and all kinds of ways. So the Renew always puts counters?
Yes.
Always on creatures or always on permanents?
Always on creatures.
Okay. All right. Lauren, who is, for those who don't know, we've got some pretty cool flavor text here. Who is Codus?
You get out of here.
So Codus is the new leader of the Sultai, and for this card, we
Assassin's
wanted to
Creed.
reflect, like, one of the ways the Sultai maintain their powers is through a network of spies. So if you take a look at the art, this is a Sultai character, like, very clearly spying on a Jeskai monastery for the Fangkeeper, which is the leader of the Sultai.
All right. Next, let's move on to our next mechanic, Endures. Not Reach, as we joked beforehand. When this creature enters, so this, I don't know, this something Earth Carver. I don't know how to pronounce that. When this creature enters, it endures 3, which is put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, or create a 3/3 white spirit creature token. How do we land on this, JD?
Yeah, so this is the Abzan mechanic. Last in Khans of Tarkir, the Outlast mechanic grew your creatures over time with a very endurance feel to it. We just went for that name this time, but kind of the same vibe, just a choice between getting a creature to grow your forces or for making a bigger creature here. Now we've seen enough of these that you can start to see some of the ways we're blending and having synergy between the clans. Endures is in some ways a counter mechanic, so if you play it with some Sultai cards, you can care about counters. In some ways it's a go wide mechanic, so if you play it with Mobilize, you can care about having a wide board. So just kind of an interesting way of playing with a lot of what's going on in the set.
Okay. Now,
All right, fine. I
chat's
bought another
asking
one.
about, was this mechanic, did it come from Fabricate, or was it
Comes out in
developed
2 days.
independently?
Not for me.
How did you all arrive at this?
Comes out
I
today
would
for
say
me.
it was developed independently, but we certainly design in the context of most of the things we've done before. So I imagine the people who came up with Endures had seen Fabricate before, and it's a bit of a twist.
Yeah.
See?
All right.
I can play it
let's
right
move
now.
on to a mechanic that definitely doesn't draw 3 cards in green. And I'm giving Lauren a little crap here, but it's Harmonize.
I stand by my decision.
We'll talk about that in a second. All right, so this is Roamer's Routine. So this is the version of, you search your library for a basic land card,
But
put the battlefield tap,
I gotta,
shuffle. So for 2
I got to do
green,
some
you
more
see a lot
work
of
for my main
variations of this.
side gig
But Jadine, it's got that Harmonize ability. First, let's talk
before I
about the
play
ability,
it.
then we'll talk about the name.
So I'll try streaming a little bit later.
Harmonize is the teamer mechanic. It is a
Got a little work to do,
flashback
though.
variant, a way to cast your instants and sorcery spells from the graveyard with the twist of being cost reduced by a power of a creature you control. So Harmonize is, to me, the biggest mechanical vibe shift between what we saw from the clan last, where Ferocious and Teamer really cared about big creatures. And here we're leaning more into kind of the spell casting part of that identity. Still caring about big creatures. It's really powerful to do this with a 4-power creature and only have 1 mana, but we get to see just kind of a different look at it. This mechanic's pretty fun.
Yeah. So, obviously there's some mechanical threads to like convoke. So a couple questions people might have. Can you only tap 1 creature to pay for Harmonize, or can you tap multiple?
Yes, it is 1 creature.
Okay. And so it just cares about that 1 creature's power.
Yep.
All right. Okay, let's move on to Omen. So as a few people in chat pointed out, this looks like adventure, but there's some pretty important differences, Jadine.
Yeah, so we just looked at the 5 clan mechanics.
I like these
This
a lot.
is one of the dragon mechanics, another very important part of Tarkir.
I like these.
So we wanted something for the dragons so they didn't
About
feel
Graham
left
announcing
out
his
and got
retirement.
to
He
feel
needed
like
to.
an important part
Taurus
of the set,
tricep
but,
twice.
Time
to go.
This isn't exactly adventure comes down in technical game design term to dragons. Dragons have very specific constraints, and we want to put a lot of the power of dragons into the creature side and let them be big and awesome. And when you do that with normal adventure, and I should clarify here for anybody who hasn't caught up, the difference is these shuffle into your deck instead of hanging out to be cast.
Yeah, he's the
later.
one that strip sack
You'll
Brady.
still, if you use the Omen side, still get to cast the dragon eventually. You just have to draw it again.
Yeah.
So if we did this as adventure, the dragons would end up getting to look a lot less cool. The numbers would be lower. They wouldn't be quite as much threats on the battlefield. Just how cards are balanced. This is just kind of how it plays out. So this twist on the mechanic really let us make the dragon part of these cards as awesome as dragons needed to be. And it's ultimately a solve for letting us put a lot of really cool dragons in the set by giving them some modality.
Now, and here we
Oh,
see
that looks so
the
good.
Iconic version of this card.
God, I love the
Cool.
borders on these.
So I did have a question. So, it's got that subtype Omen, which speaks to what you
God,
do
that
when
looks
you
good.
cast it. Is there anything in the set that cares about when you cast an Omen or anything like that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll wait and see that. We don't have that for a preview card today. But
There is not a lot, but there is 1 or 2 cards that care about the Omen subtype.
okay. Let's move on to the next mechanic, which is Behold. So we saw this actually a while ago in
Behold.
the first look.
A dragon.
But Jadine, how important is Behold to this set?
Behold is somewhat important, I would say. I don't think it shows up as a lot of the other mechanics. So in terms of what's showing up, probably a little less. But it is so fun, and I just kind of love the action of going, hey, look, this is my dragon. And because I get to point to this and you know it's coming or it's already here, my spell is getting bigger. So what this does for the set is an incentive to play a sizable quantity of dragons in your deck so that you can have one consistently to show for these cards. And just kind of reward you for playing with dragons, some of the coolest things going on.
Yeah, and,
Yeah, I haven't watched it
obviously
yet.
This is
I'll have
we're
to
gonna
watch
talk
it.
about throwbacks to the
DG is such a
original blog
badass.
quite a bit, but this mechanic
Love
is
that dude.
a direct reference to a non-named mechanic in the original Tarkir block.
Right. The card I think about the most is Silumgar's Scorn,
Same.
where you
Yep.
could
Beat the piss out of
reveal a
you in
dragon
10
from your
minutes?
hand
Nice.
to upgrade your counterspell to a full counterspell. Very influential in the standard format of the
Yep.
time. Had some awkward tension at times, but we thought it was a really cool thing going on, and was awesome the way that format played out, where you would play decks with like 7 or 8 dragons because you wanted to power up your stuff, and we thought we could tap into some of that magic, get us some new technology here. On Tarkir, we're beholding dragons, but in the future, we could behold a lot of things.
Behold
Pretty
these
nice.
nuts.
Well, and,
Ayo.
you know, much like Silumgar's Scorn, the 1 mana off on
Yeah,
this
chat,
looks
behold
really
these nuts.
powerful.
Right.
Like, I don't know, I can't think of another 1 mana black spell that gives -3/-3.
Not at instant speed.
Not-
yeah,
certainly
this is,
not at instant speed, yeah.
If you always behold a dragon, this is a very powerful card.
Calling HR.
All right.
I am
It's
HR.
Serviceable at 2 mana too.
Yep, absolutely.
We've played Last Gas before. All right. Our final mechanic is going to be hybrid mana, which is something we see now and then. But how does this?
I
play
like
out in
this.
set?
Yeah,
I like how
so
this is, in
Tarkir
case you're
is a
missing, like,
3-color
something.
set, and 3-color sets can be kind of challenging to play with. So
like that.
here we're using it mostly for this two-brid thing going on and letting us make some 3-color cards that are a little more forgiving if you end up off a color. Just kind of as a way to smooth out your games and just say, all right, you are playing a 3-color deck, but you didn't draw your green source. It's okay. You can still play this a turn later.
And how? So obviously you have this as a color smoothing mechanic in limited. What else did you do in limited to balance out the ability to play 3 colors?
Mana fixing is one of the big ones. Speed of the environment is something we thought about a lot, trying to make sure you'd have time to stumble a little bit on your mana. Yeah, there's a lot of tools in the set. Definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution, just kind of a lot of little things to help.
It's
you
literally
here.
anything from 3 to 6 mana to cast that
And then,
card.
Lauren, we've seen it
Which I like a lot.
few times, but obviously we have the watermark here for the clan. Can you talk a little bit about how it was determined which cards got watermarks and which didn't?
Yes. So generally, we kind of looked back at what was done in the original set and utilized that as kind of our baseline, as well as other sets that we've had with watermarks before. So this was anything that was 3-color or had the clan mechanic, and then I believe our monocolor legends also have the watermark.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't really care about that. It's cool,
On that
but
note,
don't
let's
care
move
either way.
on to some previews that are more focused on world building. They're still cool cards. They're great. But Lauren had some stories.
biased.
Yeah. Lauren had some stories that she wanted to tell. So we're going to go through a few of these, and we're going to start with Rite of Renewal, which, even though it doesn't have the watermark,
I like the art on that.
is pretty Sultai focused based on the art and the flavor text. So tell us about this, Lauren.
Yeah, so one of the pieces that we had in this set is that all of the clans have this returning color. So for the Sultai, it's green. And we wanted, knowing that we were going to have more cards kind of in that returning color for each clan, to really bring that element to the forefront. So with the Sultai, it was a big shift away from, I would almost say, like the sort of
Also,
wasteful use of the dead. Now it's
I
like
was gonna
the
stream last week.
The undead are very useful to us. And
Well,
so
man,
this is
I had a week.
showcasing the moment where they bring someone back, so they don't
I,
lose that kind of knowledge and information
went to the
that
gym
person had.
Yeah. And so mechanically,
on
obviously,
Sunday
Jadine,
of last week,
the Sultai have a
and then
mechanic
slept
that
on my shoulder
utilizes
wrong,
the graveyard, but how
and I
focused on the
literally couldn't
graveyard
move
are Sultai?
or sit
Fairly
without
focused,
being in
I would say.
excruciating
You could
pain
think
for
of
like
it
2 or
as a
3
very
days.
graveyard-focused
then
value deck.
Literally,
Just a lot of
the
ways to
day
mill
I
and a
felt
lot of
better
ways
and was
to
getting ready to
accrue some
stream,
value from getting cards in
I
your
caught
graveyard, whether it's
norovirus.
putting a renew card in your graveyard or a card like this that lets you access it later.
And
Okay.
pretty
Now,
sure
let's take a look at
I actually
Bearer
shit
of
my brains out.
Glory, which is a
I lost
relative-
10 pounds
it's a
in
strong
3 days.
Common. This creature has first strike as a 2/1, 2-drop. It can later
Last
on
week
pump your
was a
creatures.
rough
This
week
is
for me.
definitely something you'll play in various aggressive decks. But it was picked out, Lauren, because it has a cool visual continuity with a rare card that we just saw.
Wasn't much shit.
Yeah, so
No,
similar
it wasn't
as we
shit.
have
It
green
was
as a
just
returning color for Sultai, white as a
all of the
returning color for
fluids in my
Tarkir,
body
and for that we really wanted to showcase the
gone.
military, and that includes the army, the people who fight, but also the sort of supporting elements, both in the rally.
However, I'm only 15 pounds away from my goal weight.
With their flags, and I just love the execution
So,
of this kind of two-piece art that is always wonderful when we can pull off.
Yep.
So big shout out to the art director and the concept around.
Yep, just give me Noro 2 more times.
JD and these two cards pair pretty nicely together on the board.
170,
as well.
no, 225 is my
Absolutely.
goal.
Certainly, Bearer of Glory's one of the
Probably
primary
closer to
use
20
cases
pounds.
in Limited is to get a bunch of Mobilize up and make a big attack and activate your Bearer of Glory ability.
I'll probably gain some of it back just from water weight.
All right,
but
let's take a look at a cat and a bird. So this
Burp.
is Rescue Leopard and Aegis
2 months?
Sculptor. Lauren, why are we looking at? I mean, they're adorable. They're cute.
damn, Seminole.
I
Holy
want you
shit.
to say that to the bird's face.
Holy shit.
I was
Like
mostly
terrifying
looking.
eagle.
I was mostly looking at the Rescue Leopard.
It's fair.
The
Ozempic?
Sculptor's good
I don't need that
looking
shit.
bird right there.
I can lose weight on
but
my own.
that's,
Yeah.
that's not why they're up here. Why are we talking about these two?
So the Aegis sculpture is a really good example.
She's for the
of,
streets.
And JD kind of mentioned it previously with the harmonized mechanic. The goal around that is really showcasing the teamer kind of magic and spell casting. And
Get
so you
a-
have a lot of blue
Get a
teamer
good ass
cards.
lawyer.
And this is a really good example of kind of like the way in which they use their magic. And that was going to be a core focus of the clan this time, something that we could really emphasize. But they also still have a lot of creatures that work alongside them as a clan. And so we can see here with like the rescue leopard, it's not just any old cat. This is a cat that is kitted out and probably well fed. And just kind of is very clearly part of the clan, so that we can kind of showcase that they have this sort of two-sided relationship between their magic, but also their relationship to the land and the creatures. And that is why I picked the name Harmonize. I know it doesn't technically draw cards, but it could draw cards. You could have a draw effect on a Harmonized card.
Yep.
I love
Got the lawyer on
extent
tap?
to which that kind of animal companion thing going
Fuck
on.
them
and
hoes.
helping, spellcaster
Don't let her take your
comes
money.
through mechanically, like Rescue Leopard.
Yeah, that-
if you
Go
think
go
about the
hard.
harmonized
Don't feel
mechanic,
bad.
Tap this to your
Don't feel bad.
harmonized
Don't
thing.
don't
Yeah.
get in your
Reduce it by
feelings.
4.
Go
Hit
hard.
the trigger.
She ain't
It's
getting
just- it's
shit.
so clean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of cutie patooties in the teamer art, so look out for those ones.
JD, that was a really interesting call out on tapping being a way that works with Harmonize. I'm interested on Aegis Sculptor. So it utilizes and uses up your graveyard and sits in blue, and both Teamer and Sultai have graveyard mechanics. How does this one fit in?
Yeah, that is definitely kind of the overlap for blue here between Teamer and Sultai is just some amount of
She said keep everything.
get stuff into your graveyard, whether
Good.
it's a renew card or a harmonized card.
Rip
and
the
then
Band-Aid off.
have
It's gonna
incentives
suck
to
for a bit.
mill, and then other ways to use your graveyard.
Rip
once
that
you're doing
Band-Aid
that.
off.
This also gets a counter, so it can benefit from some of those synergies. This one definitely is tapping into a lot going on in the set.
Very cool. All right, next, let's take a look at Undergrowth Leopard. I was saying before the show that I'm old, and so I had visions, pun intended, of Pouncing Jaguar.
Speaking
from
of cats,
back in
I
the
ordered
day.
that cat secret
this is
layer
not that. This is a
simply
different
for
sort of
Basilisk
cat,
collar because it looks like
but
Nutsack. Who's out
Why
in the
are we
other
interested
room.
in this particular kitty, Lauren?
Yeah, so besides it being an adorable cat, one of the things that we see with the new Dragonstorms on Tarkir is that it is causing changes both to the landscape and to the creatures. So this cat is kind of an example of one of those, perhaps was once upon a time a slightly more normal cat, but has now developed draconic elements to their design and their aesthetic. So we can see the kind of ridges and the scales along its back, and kind of this the effect of the Dragonstorms across the whole plane. And it has, the classic cat ability of destroying target enchantment or artifact, because even in the jungle, they'll still knock that stuff off your table.
Yeah,
I
and
ordered,
this is another
this is
in a long line
completely
of
off topic
bears that can
of
destroy
magic,
artifacts or enchantments.
and almost like the opposite end of the
Those are often
spectrum.
Canadian Highlander
I ordered
people. I got
460
one
rounds
reference
of
But
277 Fury
overall-
hybrid ball
overall
ammo.
Solid card and Dragon.
$1,000.
All right, let's move on to the next set of previews. So we've got 4 different cards here, and again, people who played in the original block are gonna get some familiar vibes here, Lauren.
I had to do it before April
Yeah.
1st
So all of
because
these
Colorado
are kind
put
of, I would
a
say, more
6.5%
flavorful callbacks
tax
to previous
on
settings,
anything
and you can
firearm
enjoy
related.
them without having
So I
ever
had to
played
do
the
it
previous
before then,
Tarkir.
so it didn't go up in
But
price.
Riverwalk Technique was actually one that Adam Prozek, the lead game designer, originally put in the set as a very specific reference to a piece of flavor text from the previous
Love he got
set,
more rich after
which
being done
described
streaming.
a bunch of
I
different
did.
techniques of the Jeskai, and I thought that was so wonderful. So we really wanted to keep that in as a card.
Look at pictures of
On
ammo
the
with firearms.
Washington
It's all you
Wayside,
can
we've seen
afford.
this
True.
for Golem in multiple different
Washington won't let
iterations,
you?
so I wanted to
Really?
make sure that they, we saw what they were up to this time,
weird.
and they're having a day. We have our Summon Intimidator. Of course, there's got to be a Yeti.
Still
and
gets
then
taxed, yeah.
Possibly one of the weirdest creatures that I think we've ever had.
At least
in
as far as I
Tarkir was
know.
the ape snake. So we wanted
Why'd I do that?
to
I
make
love
reference to
Colorado.
that as well, and this one is a gargoyle Karu City.
Even though there's a couple extra hoops
Yeah, anyone who
to
played
jump through
old
to shoot.
Tarkir Limited,
Such a
the
such a
Summon Intimidator,
great
it's
state.
not the exact card. It looks sort of like it.
Such a great
because
state.
there was an art through line in that one for Summit Prowler, I believe it was called. This is a different card, slightly different card.
It was also mechanically a reference to it as well.
Yep. All right, and then our final 2 world building previews. Not our.
They actually
final
just
2
passed a
previews,
law.
We're still going.
Actually, it's not
but
officially
we've
passed. I think there's one more
got,
step
Seize
where you
Opportunity
have to every
and
5 years
Cruel
take
Truths.
a
So, Lauren, what are these depicted?
take a hunter safety
So both of
course
these
in
are
order to
showcasing
buy
moments from the side
semi-automatic
fiction. So we have
firearms.
5 stories,
And I
one focused around
love
each of the
that.
clans that go alongside our main
People
set
are
story,
pissed,
so definitely go
but
check
I
those
love
out.
it.
They're on mtgstory.com. I think that's the correct website.
Yep, that's
So we have the first one, Seize Opportunity.
such
It's
a
from the Mardu side
good
story,
law,
which
and I'm
with slight
super
spoilers,
pro
that
firearms,
features Palace
but
Cat mounts.
man, I am
And
even
Cruel
more
Truths,
pro
which is from the
safety,
Sultai side story,
and
which
I'm
gives
for
you
it.
a little bit of a hint and information
All
about
for it.
what Sidisi has been up to since
It's just common
she has
sense.
once again
Agreed.
been ousted for power. She's just also having a day.
And every if you want to,
JD,
if it's
on Seize
after
Opportunity, that's an interesting combination.
every year,
of,
you have to take
options on
I
that
think a
mode.
1-hour refresher course,
Yep.
and I think it's done online.
We knew we wanted some card in
Amazing.
this space that would be a team pump option to play alongside
Filbur's
the
skit
mobilized
about
card.
firearms. No,
But we found that
Firearm
ended up
safety
being
course to buy
a
guns,
little
but you don't need
too
to-
powerful.
Yeah, that
when
one's
we
kinda
do,
weird.
Like a full trumpet blast style thing.
Okay.
So to get something
Yep.
that was still fairly strong in
making
the set,
sure
but
that
more
you're
generally useful,
not
we
a
put it
dipshit
as a
and
modal
still
option
allowing you to
on the
have it.
effect here.
Love it.
All
Absolutely
right,
love it.
Let's move into the section I just have labeled more previews.
But man, the
because we
gun
wanted to keep going.
the gun
and show
lobbies
some more
here
cards.
are
Um,
pissed.
This set is going to tickle the fancy of a certain kind of player, the +1/+1 kind
So
of rover. So let's
pissed.
take a look at Stalwart Successor. So a 3/2 human warrior with menace for 1 black and a green. Whenever 1 or more counters are put on a creature,
Remember when Colorado
you
was a solid red
control,
state?
it's the
It was a while
first
ago,
one.
but yeah.
This turn, then you can put another +1/+1 counter on that creature. So, JD, in other sets, we might have
Remember
what's
1 or more
called
counters?
signpost
Oh.
uncommons. This is a 3-color set.
Yep.
So, is this still a signpost uncommon? What role
Like
is
that.
this card playing?
I'll say kind of. So if you drafted Khans of Tarkir, the secret
It's a
to
good card.
drafting the 3-color set is that you want to start your draft off in a enemy color combination that gives you access to 2 of the
Yep.
3-color
Yep, I agree.
wedges.
100%
here,
agree.
Stalwart Successor as a black-green card can play with the Obzon and be black-green-white, or it
Shield
can play with
counters, yep.
Sultai and be blue-black-green.
Yeah.
So you often want to center yourself in one of those enemy color, 2-color combinations, and then figure out which 3rd color you're going to incorporate as the draft goes on. So kind of a signpost. There is a lot of gold cards in this set, so I don't know that it's fair to say this is like a true signpost. There's also
This is going to be a fun set to play.
3-color uncommons that we'll see. I
think this is gonna be a real
when the
fun set.
comes out that are probably the more classic signpost. But this is kind of showing you
And the
what
thing is,
synergies
the
you can
crazy thing
tap
is about
into
this
as
set
the two-color
is
combination.
that like
Here between
the Magic community
Sultai and
is going to be
Abzan, we
like,
have
this
that
is
counter thing I was
fantastic,
talking about.
and
You
they're
can
going to be
endure to get
super
counters,
pissed
or you can
at
renew to get
anything
counters.
else that
Either way,
doesn't
this
meet
card
this
will be
level.
useful, and it kind of sets
It's like
you up
every year
for
they do the same
a
thing.
lot of different synergy
like-
paths your draft might take.
Was it last year? Was
yeah,
what?
I mean, often these types of cards
Karlov
typically are
Manor?
ordered if you put a
Or
+1/+1
Markov Manor, whatever
counter
the
on a
fuck it
creature,
was.
it's an additional one, but this cares
And then
about
it's
any
like,
counter, which
bam,
is
big
right on the
release.
bridge between
Then
the
it's
two.
like,
All right, next, let's
not
take
do
a
that?
look at Duty.
and then this year's
Beyond
Aether Drift,
Death.
and then it comes to
So this is
comes to
1
this.
and a white, an
To
instant
Tarkir.
as an additional cost
Like
to
Aether Drift to
cast the spell,
Tarkir is such a
sacrifice
like,
a creature.
it's like,
Creatures you control are indestructible until end
gonna
of turn.
snap your neck,
+1/+1 counter on each creature you
get whiplash from it.
Yeah, you know, team protection, counter, very powerful. At
I
the
hope,
cost of sacrificing a creature.
hope Edge of Eternity
that's
is
a fair
cool.
drawback for the efficiency and the amount of upside you're getting here. In this set, what would I want to sacrifice in my go wide strategy? Maybe a mobilized token that's going away anyway. Just very satisfying.
Creatures gain indestructible.
All right, very cool.
Plus 1/1. That's a
Next
good
up,
card.
we have a card that is part of a
That's
cycle.
going in my
We
Angels
saw
deck.
Another part of the cycle in the debut. So we have Corroding
I don't care about-
Dragonstorm.
I don't
So
care
this
about
one in
Avatar.
particular, and then we'll talk about the cycle. One in a
Never
black
been
enchantment.
never been an Avatar guy.
That when it enters, each opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. You surveil 2. And then when a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. So JD,
I like
now,
this card,
let's
too.
talk about the cycle mechanically, and then Lauren will move into what this is depicting in the set.
Yeah, it's really easy thinking.
I'm not
about
even
this
buying
set
any
to
Avatar.
get carried away by the clans
care.
and go, okay, 3-color faction
a good card.
set. I'm going to draft Mardu or I'm going to draft Abzan. I kind of know what those clans
just don't
do.
like
I know what
cartoons.
their mechanic is. I know what the synergies are.
Never have.
But Tarkir also brings
Well, I guess
the
I take that
dragon
back.
element, and we wanted
As an adult, I never
every
have.
color and every clan to
And
have
I love
access to
Dragon
tapping
Ball.
into
Loved
Dragons
it.
Matter
And I can't
synergies.
watch it anymore.
So this cycle at Uncommon, 1 for each of the monocolors, is just
Don't
a
have to
way
Spider-Man.
to
I might get one
encourage every
Spider-Man.
deck to play dragons, and you will draft decks that feel like dragon
Avatar's the
decks
last
more
release?
than
I don't
they
know.
feel
I
like
think
one
so.
of the clan decks that are just playing a lot of dragons and getting really rewarded with these Dragonstorms, which can be very powerful and start to take over a game.
Like I
in
was
the right
super
spots.
into Dragon Ball.
Now, Lauren, obviously the set is
Like,
called
super
Tarkir
into it.
Dragonstorm.
And
Then
then
talk about having these
that art
in
is
the
fucking
set for
sick.
setting the world. building.
Damn, that's good.
Yeah, so with the set with Tarkir, it is one of its really unique features is these storms. Much to my disappointment, dragons are not actually hatched, so there's no like cute baby dragon eggs in this plane. They are born fully formed from these storms, which is a particular facet of this plane. So when thinking about what is an ongoing kind of peril to the lives of everyone on this plane, it is these storms going from, I'd say, you know, like the category 3s to like our category 5s. So these are kind of off the charts, very dangerous things that are happening that threaten all life on the plane, the clans, the people, the non-dragons. Really only if you're a dragon are you happy with them. And so the storms were intended kind of pretty early on to be a feature in the plane, and they eventually settled into this cycle of enchantment, so we could just put
It does have a
sick
wild
art
Spell
on these
Drain.
cards, and have
Oh
something
yeah,
that
that's
felt
true.
very dragon
Because it had
flavorful
like
and kind
the
of show
tree
it
branches
across
and
the
shit on the
entire
outside,
plane.
right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
whatever
the
that
draconic
was.
treatment on this really, it really hits.
Yeah, it does have a very wilds look to it.
Right. Now, everyone's favorite, we're going to have a color pie discussion, JD, because our next card is not something we've seen very often. So
Yeah,
this
Wilds
is
of Eldraine was
Sunset
good.
Strike Master, 1 in a red for a 3/1
Wilds,
human monk. Those are all
Ixalan.
normal things. It's got an ability
good.
for 2 in a red to sacrifice this creature.
Car
with
accident?
6
Oh,
mana,
that
discard this
sucks.
Creature with flying. That's, fairly par for the course for red.
But
it's
to be
got
fair,
that
Smitty,
tap,
I'd
add
rather have it be a
red.
car
This is-
accident
this is
than,
a mana dork in
the alternative.
Right. Yeah. The wild new thing about this card
If
is
there's
that
a
sentence is
positive out
just
of that.
tap add red. It's
Yeah.
not when this creature
There's
attacks,
no
add red.
positive,
You
but
spend that mana only to
it's
cast
less
creature
bad.
spells or
Right.
something like that. Yeah.
If that's- that
mana
makes sense.
creatures are
Sorry to hear that though.
unrestricted, new space for red, trying to push red to have more
I told
defensive
I
tools
had to have
and
people
more
stop
ways
telling me
to play a longer game.
when
It was,
people died or
something
killed
we had
themselves.
identified. We were
I couldn't
having some
couldn't
issues
handle it
with
anymore.
designing cards and getting all our
So I
colors
told
to
people, just
play the
please
way
don't
we
tell
wanted
me.
them to.
Like, I
color
just
pie, you know,
couldn't
it's
deal.
not a static thing. We make adjustments from time to time to help out gameplay.
There's only so much you can handle.
Red's always been a mana color, so this isn't a huge departure in that vein. We're just kind of
Said rituals or
Right.
like sacrifice this to add mana.
right. You shouldn't expect red mana creatures to outclass green mana creatures.
Brain can only
Green
take
is
so much.
Absolutely, still first and foremost the best at this. And
Once we
red
hit
will not
high
be
double
pushing
digits
into
from my
land ramp
company,
space. There won't be a red rampant growth or a red
the old,
Farseek. Red
the old brain
ramp here
just
needs
couldn't-
to be interactable. So on creatures,
couldn't
but
come
yeah,
back from
we're
it.
doing more of
So
this.
All right. So you said that it won't outclass green, but you did say this might be a sort of normal thing. Are we going to see this semi-regularly then?
Yep.
Okay. All right. You heard it here first. Red can just tap to add mana now. All right. Now let's go back into the references that
our company
like
definitely
Assault Club. So we've got
got struck with
Ringing
the hardest
Strike Mastery,
hardest shit
which again just
on both
visually,
deployments.
And mechanically is a callback to what, JD?
Yeah.
Oh, I
the
like
card
this.
Is oh no, I'm gonna mess it up. Singing Bell Strike.
You got it. You
Okay,
did it.
great.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, we looked at a lot of the creative and visual callbacks earlier. This one is a very direct mechanical callback to a card.
But does
you
Red
may
need ramp?
remember from the
I mean,
first
they're getting
concept
landfall
art
in Final
here. This
Fantasy,
kind of,
so fuck it,
interesting
you know.
shape for a common removal spell, not the kind of thing we do a
Sure,
lot.
auto gunfire. What the
So it's
fuck?
very
You live in South Side of
memorable,
Chicago?
I think just the very peculiar set of upsides and downsides on this style of effect. So we refreshed it a little bit. This isn't a straight reprint, different numbers, but still a very similar feeling.
Yeah, I played a lot of Singing Bell Strike back in the day. It cost 1 and a blue, and the untap I think was 6.
Yep.
But
I like
otherwise,
this.
It was pretty much the same deal.
This is a good card.
All
This is
right.
a good card to piss people
All
off.
about the callbacks. Makes me feel seen. Next up, another, at least there's a name in this callback. So Salt Road Pack Beast. But it's also got some both mechanical and flavor things to talk about here. So JD, let's start with you.
All right, this is another of the cards I would say is one of Play Design's favorite cards, this time for limited games. Just found this to be a very fun common. One of our many efforts to give mobilize
camel
and
dragon?
temporary tokens something meaningful to do that is
I
not
think that's a camel
just,
dragon.
get a lot of damage in. So you can get your wide board, deploy this for cheap, and kind of have tools for a long game. It also blends with Endure as another way of going wide in white.
Would it be a Kagran or
Really fun
a
card to play
Dramel?
with.
Oh yeah, chat's already talking about the pauper implications and how strong this can be, and if you can cast it for 1 white. But Lauren, they're also talking about why this isn't a camel dragon.
One, we didn't want to put the dragon type on anything that
What the
wasn't
hell?
actually a dragon. And this one is more referencing, like, Tarkir has
Were they
been
listening to
known
me?
for its beast creatures, so we wanted to stick with that in the space. I believe I did some digging at the time when picking the creature type to kind of see what visual similarities there were, and I was like, well, I'm going to stick with beast on this because it has all of these very dramatic dragon-like elements. But
It's definitely a Dramel.
It's just a little weirdo, but it's a weird camel if you want to call it that.
Yeah. And JD, you may or may not know the answer to this because this may be more of a rules templating style question, but it's a good question that chat's saying.
Part of the NDA
So
I
we
signed.
recently did do some.
It's gotta be coming up
erratas,
here soon, right?
Give a lot of things affinity.
I don't know how long that
for
NDA lasts.
their thing, whatever it is, when affinity wasn't there before. Is there? Why doesn't this have affinity for creatures, for example?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer to this. It
Okay.
certainly could.
Someone else will know the answer to it, but it may be a timing thing.
Can't remember how
That
long
would
my
be
NDA was.
Guess is that we made the change
2
after
years?
this had
3
all
years?
gone to print, but someone somewhere will answer it. It's a great question for Mark Rosewater's blog or us on social media. All right.
Probably should have read
Next,
that.
let's move into Yathen Tomb Guard. So this is 2 and a black for a human warrior. 2,
Menache.
3, the warrior type, even though there's no typal
In perpetuity?
warrior,
Oh, shit.
stuff in this set, really. Those who remember, warriors were a big creature type back in the day. But this one, whenever a creature you control with a
Draw a
counter
card and lose a
deals
life?
combat damage to a player,
Worth.
you draw a card and you lose 1 life. Jadine, where's this straddling the line in the set?
This is going between the Sultai Renew mechanic and the Abzan Endure mechanic and rewarding you for some of those counter synergies, which is nice, one, because it blends the line between those two things and is just very useful as a way to let you play with a lot of cards. But it's also
Funny thing is
really
that,
helpful for
I mean,
the
I would never
Endure
break an
mechanic,
NDA
where
because
the choice
I actually
between
take 'em
counters
seriously,
on this creature
but,
and
like,
a whole
gaming
other
companies
useful creature
don't
can be a
really
pretty
do shit if you
lopsided
break
choice in a lot of
NDAs.
spots. So incentives towards putting the counters on the creature is always useful.
It's
so
really
that
weird.
choice balances out a bit.
They'll blacklist you for like
You
a
noted
year,
warriors,
and then
so
you'll be
we
fine.
have warriors and soldiers in this set,
It's
and there
the
was a
weirdest
little
shit.
bit of generally
Warrior, new card
more
draw
of
for
the soldiers are in
Najila.
Abzan,
Yup.
more of the warriors are in Mardu, just sort of kind of building the clan's flavor. But we had several edge cases, and I will say the line that me and my co-narrative designers were working on was basically like, how much main character energy do they have?
You get your burb deck done, you'll have
They
to look.
became warriors. So if you're
I
curious
will.
why this one's a warrior, I felt like they had very good main character
They
energy.
do have a lot of main character energy
That
here.
is really
Yeah.
coming through from the art.
I like that. Oh,
Because there's no typal effects in this set, so we
Yeah.
wanted to kind of use it more for a flavor and a card type match.
Yep. Main character energy. All right. Next up, let's take a look at three cards
Videos
together. Reigning
partnering with
Victor,
T-Mobile?
Marshal of
Well, they announced that
Lost,
early.
and Purging Stormbrood, and you see that Draconic
Dude,
version
that
on
Draconic
the
is
right.
so good.
So, Jadine, these are all members of important cycles. So why don't you talk about kind of the cycles generally in these cards?
Yeah, definitely a smattering of our limited cycles here. This isn't all of them, but here's a bit of a taste. We've seen another of
You can
the
definitely go to
Reigning
MagicCon now?
Victor,
Nice.
cycle before. This is a
I gotta buy
common
tickets
two-brid cycle
for,
3-color cards.
on
a lot
Thursday.
of attention on these cards to making them strong when you get to play them on turn 3, but not overwhelmingly so, and not in a snowbally way. Want these cards to be powerful 3-color rewards, but not dominate the game
Yep,
when your mana
June
works, but still be useful later in the
20
game
something?
when it doesn't, and taking advantage of the
22nd?
two-grid mechanic. Marshal of the Lost, we saw the black-green gold card at Uncommon before. Here is one for white-black, another enemy pair.
Death
Going
Touch.
between Abzan and
Reigning Victor looks like
Mardu
Drax.
here, so
He kinda
gonna
does.
go wide focused and kind of the overlap between those two.
Nothing goes over
So
my
yeah,
head.
we have these at Uncommon
Catch
that
it.
can help get you solidly into a 2-color enemy pairing, and then you can figure out what clan you want to take third color of cards for down the road.
And lots of main character energy with those two as well.
It's gonna be like
See the
200 degrees in June.
warrior thing.
I got the hotel super
Here-
close to
and
it,
then
so
finally we have Purging Stormbrood. This is a 2-color,
Quick little walk.
again, always
Yeah,
enemy in this set. That is the way that things work out well for the 3-color
Race well. Which burb?
combinations.
It's not that, like,
Omen dragons
stork
that are
bard thing, is it?
multicolored, at Uncommon. So just kind of useful cards that we're hoping you play in basically all of your limited decks that are these 2 colors, and just
Forgot the name.
nifty things that can help get you cemented in a lane.
Yeah, I also think the interesting on the ability on the dragon side of purging Stormbrood is interesting. There we go. I got those words in that sentence. In the order
they'll
correctly.
say where each one is here soon.
Removing counters, not something we typically do, but there's a lot of counters flying.
They'll
around
probably
this
have a
set.
collecting
Yeah,
Tarkir
absolutely.
article that'll go up and tell you where
Often
each.
not the biggest
one
deal, but
is,
in this set
located.
with Renew specifically, a lot of potential to.
Oh, that's where
build
the
up
entrance
a
is?
monster of a
Fantastic.
creature that has a ton of
I'll only
counters
have to walk
and
like
a ton
20
of
feet,
keywords
'cause that's
that
the
can
same
really
hotel
start
I'm in.
Dominating the game. So this is just a light little bit of counterplay and say counterplay, nice. Letting you kind of take that away and punish your opponent for putting too many eggs in one basket.
Yeah, purging it.
And most of our dragon cards in the set, unless they're the 3-color dragons, are showcasing just the wild weirdness of the wild dragons. So that's what the Stormbrood's reflecting.
Very
This is
cool.
a weird guy. I love
He's a little weird guy, but
Be careful, it'll
pretty
sell out
strong.
quick. That one
All
goes
right,
fast.
now let's move into. So, Jadine talked a little earlier about some.
And
of
it
the
gets
challenges of
expensive
making a 3-color
very
set
quick.
work. Let's take a look at some of the solutions. So, this is also sort of a callback to Tarkir, where we had artifacts that did something to help fix your mana. In this, it's going to be a monument cycle. So, Obs on Monument. When this artifact enters, search your library for a basic Planeswalker Forest card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. It costs 2 mana. And then it's got an ability for 1 and Obs on colors to sacrifice this artifact. Create an XX white spirit creature token where X is the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Activate as a sorcery. And we're going to see this. It's not this exact card, because that ability is going to change, but this sort of version of it as we go through these. So, Jadine, talk about these as important to limited.
Yeah, so, level 1, this is a pretty powerful mana-fixing card. Just full-on, get a land for free. It's not going to the top of your deck. You're just grabbing
Oh,
it,
so there's
fixing
one
your
for
mana.
each.
These are colorless artifacts.
So there'll be
of
5
course,
monuments.
So it doesn't matter what color you're missing. You can always use this, which is pretty important for a 3-color set. Green is, the best at doing this, but not all of the color combinations are green, and we want everybody's mana to work, so we need some of this stuff in colorless. This cycle went through a ton of iteration and different shapes, trying to find the most fun way to put power into these cards. One of the things we really wanted to do was make sure that the mana fixing cards both helped you in the early game and didn't feel bad to prioritize during the draft, and because you need to take them, it's kind of like eating your vegetables a lot of the time when you have kind of not that strong cards that you have to put in your deck to make it work. So we thought it would be more fun if we got cards you were really excited to put in your deck that also helped you out. And I think we found a really nice
That's a name.
here of a
Salvatore Z. Yazzie.
And you have this resource that you'll have access to for some more creatures. Pretty fun card.
Oh, I like the art on that one.
It's always nice when your mana fixing then gives you something else a little bit later.
Yeah.
All right. There's all 5 for the cycle. All right. And then, of course, there's some dual lands. We went with some tried and true commons for this set. Obviously, JD and I assume these are relatively important.
Absolutely. You need a source of multiple colors of mana, help you play full 3 colors, or splash some of your 3-color cards for your 2-color deck.
Yeah, you get a life out of it.
These will help.
Now, Lauren, we've seen these cards before, but it seems like the team always does something interesting with the art and the concept around them.
We love playing with art. One of the things that's interesting in the set is, right, because so much of the focus is on the enemy color pairs, so we really wanted to play off of the fact that there are allied pairs and enemy pairs. So on the allied pairs, we can see in the art kind of a moment of tenuous peace between the clans. So you'll see one member or a group from one clan in kind of another clan's area or territory. Like in the, I think the most obvious one is probably Tranquil Cove. You can see like an Abzan caravan moving through a Jeskai, like past Jeskai Monastery. And then in the other cycle, in the enemy, really playing up that enemy side, we just see the aftermath of a brutal conflict between 2 different sides.
Of course.
And so that was very fun to kind of showcase the duality of what's happening.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh man!
All right, and
I have to answer this call, but I'm also not answering this call. I'll have to call him back.
Some of the coolest art treatments that we've seen in a while. So these are full art lands, but they're very draconic. So here we have the Dragon's Presence basic lands, and we're going to talk about where you can get these.
I think I might like these better
in a moment, but yeah. These are gorgeous, and they just give you that shadow of the dragon.
They're always watching. You're always potentially a lunch.
And then the ones that got quite a
I don't like.
response,
I don't like this one, and I don't like this one.
During the debut video, the
I don't like these 2.
Basic lands.
These ones are sick.
These are gorgeous.
Honestly,
but I don't
if
like
you're
these
this
2.
close, you are definitely lunch.
Yeah, you wouldn't. This is a rare view of a dragon.
Yeah, maybe the last one that you would have.
That's because you know they'll be foil.
All right, and then let's talk a little bit about. Let's see our next slide. There we are.
Oh, here we go.
All right, so there's going to be a Collecting Tarkir Dragonstorm article up on Daily MTG where you'll be able to get all the details, but here is the overview. So specifically on those basic lands, the Draconic Presence basic lands, the first ones we showed with the Shadow, those are going to be found in both play and collector boosters. You're going to get them basically anywhere you're opening packs of Tarkir Dragonstorm. The Dragon's Eye basic lands are going to be found in collector boosters. And then going down the list of treatments, Draconic cards, the treatments for any of the dragons and dragon related cards, those can be found in both play and collector. The borderless reversible, so those are the rare dragons plus Ugin that are the little baby on the one side, and the grown-up version on the other side. Those can be found in any. The borderless clan cards that we saw with Taigam, those can be found in any in play or collector boosters. And then in collector boosters, the Dragon's Eye basic lands, you'll find those. You'll find the extended art, which we do kind of every set. And then the various Ghostfire treatments, the Ghostfire and the Halo Foil Ghostfire treatments are going to be found there. The serialized headliner that mocks Jasper, that is going to be in the collector booster. And also
Only? That's
very
crazy.
hard to find, as well as the Dragon Scale Foil. And then the special guests, which were revealed in the debut video as the ultimatums, as well as the enemy fetch lands. Those can be found in both play boosters and collector boosters. The difference is going to be the non-foils will be found in play boosters, and the foils will be found in collector.
I would sell a serialized Jasper immediately.
We've still got a few more things to show off before we sign off. So, Commander reveals are coming up, but they're not happening yet. Real quick, you're going to see the Jeskai Striker deck revealed on 319 on Command Zone. You're going to see Mardu Surge revealed on 320 on Infrusuentus. I pronounced that terribly, I'm sure. Tolarian Community College will be revealing Sultai Arisen on 321. Commander at Home on 324 will be revealing the Abzan Armor deck. And this show, right here, next week, we'll be revealing the Teamer Roar deck. So come back next week to talk about that deck. But we've got a couple Commander cards that you love. They're in basically every set, but they got Draconic upgrades here. So
Ooh, I
we've
like
got
the Soul
Arcane
Ring.
Soul Ring and Command Tower, all highlighting Tarkir-focused art.
These were a lot of fun. It was tricky because there's no clan neutral thing to showcase, so we kind of just went with whatever's most thematic between each of the clans for the concept of the card.
All right, and then another card that is sure to be a favorite. There's going to be a play promo that you'll see. Again, you'll see how to get this if you head to dailymtg.com. But we are making a Wastes version of the Dragon's Eye basic land. This will not be found in boosters. This is going to be a promo. There's no colorless theme in Tarkir Dragonstorm, no wastes, but we still wanted to make this because it's cool and awesome.
It's a cool card.
And so that's going to be a play promo. Head to dailymtg.com to learn more about how to get this waste that goes perfectly with your Ugin deck. All right, and then we just talked about the reversible cards that show the baby dragons and the grown-up dragons. Well, Secret Lair wanted to get in on that, so there's going to be a drop called They Grow Up So Fast. That's going to be part of the Our Bosses on Vacation super drop starting March 24th at 9 a.m., and this is going to showcase some of our favorite dragons from original Tarkir block. So let's take a look at those. So again, these are reversible. You're going to get Dragon Lord Atarka here in full-fledged form, and then little baby Dragon Lord Atarka there on the right. So again, those are reversible. This is one card. We'll cycle through these as I talk through it. This drop is going to be available on foil and non-foil for $39.99 for foil, $29.99 for non-foil.
That's silly looking.
Dragon Lord Dramoka.
You're so cute.
So cute.
I think this one's my favorite, though.
Colgan, he's learning how to use the lightning.
Yeah.
So this
No,
drop
no,
is
no,
going to
no.
feature the 5 original Dragon Lords from Dragons of Tarkir. Like I said, it's reversible. You're obviously going to play with the baby side. I mean,
It's objectively the correct side to
it's
play with.
objectively the correct choice. But you know what? If you want to show that they're all grown up, you can do that too. The art is by Antonio Jose Manzanero. And
Those are so good.
MagicSecretLair.com to get
Those are
notified
so
when the
good.
sale begins. Baby Silumgar might be my favorite.
Good
Yeah,
choice.
it's a pretty close one. I think
Yeah.
I'm still on Colicon, but yeah, Silumgar's a good runner-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are
Those
good.
are adorable and will be available March 24th. We do have one more preview card before we go. Before I do that, a couple things. As I said, next week's show, we're going to reveal the entire Temur Roar Commander deck, so that'll be a good time. Also, MagicCon Las Vegas early bird badge sales
Thursday.
and ticketed play. That is all starting this Thursday, March 20th at 10 a.m. So MagicCon Vegas is always one of the highlights of the year. This year it's happening in June, which is a little bit of a different time for Vegas. The early bird prices are going
Arguably
to be available only
the
until
worst time?
March 28th. So that opens this Thursday, March 20th at 10 a.m. All right.
should have
and
flip-flopped
reminder,
Chicago
again,
and Vegas.
we have one more preview card, but April 4th, if you're looking forward to Tarkir, Dragonstorm is going to be your first chance to play at your local game store for a pre-release. This is going to be a big one, so reserve your spot early, and then it's going to come to digital platforms, Magic the Gathering Arena and Magic the Gathering Online on April 8th, followed by the global release on April 11th. And with all that out of the way, we couldn't do this show without revealing at least one Spirit Dragon. So for our last preview, we've got Tevel, Arbiter of Virtue. So 2, a black, a green, and a blue. It's Sultai. Spirit Dragon. It's got lifelink. It's got flying, of course. It's 6/6. Spells you cast have Delve. Nothing bad has ever happened with that ability before. And
Lose life
whenever
equal to
you
its
cast
mana
a
value?
spell, you lose life equal to its mana value. So, Jadine, this card is wild.
Yeah, this card is really cool. I barely know where to start talking about it. The Spirit Dragons we took really seriously. This set needed awesome, awesome dragons to just show how cool they are. Everybody loves dragons. This card, it's a real appealing mix of upside.
I think that thing has lifelink.
A card type I personally love a lot. But spells you cast have Delve, incredibly powerful line of text. There are so much nonsense you can do with this. Whenever you cast a spell
that
and you
is
lose life equal to its
sick.
mana value, you probably don't want that. Maybe you do. Maybe you're a Death Shadow kind of person and this is exciting. In some narrow cases, sure. But it's kind of counterbalancing the Delve a bit. And this is a 5-mana, 6/6 flying lifelink creature. You're going to have access to some life. This is the last time I'll get to say it this show, but this is a card playtest and play design found incredibly fun. Just really doing pretty cool things and just having really good games. Also, not my department. This is my pick for the favorite art in the set.
This is wait,
I
which
love
one
this
is
idea.
this?
the main set.
The main set.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is gorgeous.
I
Yeah.
definitely want to give a
this one.
shout out. So Alexander Ocharovsky was one of our
It's this
concept
one.
artists on the push and was one of the folks who designed a lot of the Spirit Dragons. And so for Rochelle, the lead art director, had the original concept artist for the Spirit Dragons come
Well, the
back
art
and
on this
do
one
the
kind of
final
looks like
piece.
it's on an old
It's just kind of
style
this beautiful
scroll.
continuity, but a really, like, they turned out, all of them turned out so amazing. But
Well,
yeah,
and I
love
love
the
that
teal color.
Yeah, and I love that all
Little-wise.
3 of these, they depict the same dragon, but they're all pretty distinct art styles, and so you can kind of pick and choose which one suits you best. All right, that's it for today. Previews are going to be ongoing this week and next as we learn more about Tarkir Dragonstorm. If you want to dive even deeper and learn more details about a certain part of the set, whether it's mechanics or how and where to collect certain treatments or cards, head to dailymtg.com. All of that's getting updated probably as we speak, if not already up there. Otherwise, thank you, Lauren and Jadine, for joining us. And thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
That's it. It's over. All right, before I say the thing I want to say, make sure it's actually up. That ain't it. Holy cow. Dementia? Rude. You have dementia. You have it. You have dementia. Nope. That ain't it. You already said that? You already said that. Okay, it's not up yet. I can't say anything. I'll just post it on Twitter when I can say it. And Blue Sky. Clearly, it ain't up yet. Over here. Oh, they showed up. Oh. It's the actual card. It's not the digital replica of it. That looks really good. The dragon scales. Yeah, that's really good. Nope. Okay. Can't talk about it. Scroll through Twitter to see if there was any information. There is no information. Cool. I gotta go do work. But look what I got access to. We're gonna be playing this here in a little bit. I don't know if we'll get to it today, but definitely tomorrow. Let's see how loud this is. It's gonna be so loud. Maybe it won't load. It loaded. Take a PTO? No, I can't. Stacy's out of the country. I have to do the work. I actually have to do stuff. Intel sucks now. Fiverr? Yeah, I wish. I wish Fiverr could do it. I don't think the government would be too happy with me giving government information to Fiverr. They might get mad.
Press X to enable narration.
That will not turn on narration. Are we getting a video?
Welcome. A beautiful place, isn't it?
Oh god, there's a
The fresh sea
cutscene?
breeze, the warm sun. This beach belongs just to you. It doesn't exist
love
out
beaches.
in the world. Everything you see here is from the past. Your past.
What happened to the audio?
One of your ancestors visited this place long ago.
Who was
forever
it?
Writing their memory into the fabric of your DNA. Animus Ego unlocks these genetic memories for you. To sense,
Who was it?
wander, and connect.
Is it doing that on
Like grains of
purpose?
sand which began as rocks, you have been shaped by these past lives, honed into who you are today. Your journey to mindfulness begins through these ancestral memories for a total perspective on what makes you you.
New memory streams are activating now.
Erase self-doubt, fear, and weakness. Give yourself the confidence to conquer the world.
Follow the trail and we will be in touch. Welcome to the dark.
I want to go in the dark. There it is. Oh, it's got all the games. Oh, that's cool. Is this on Game Pass? Oh, I have no idea. I actually have no idea. Video, borderless window, no frame limiter, no dynamic resolution, gross. Gross, gross. Apply. Okay, we'll figure this out. If I have time, I'll play it later. If not, tomorrow. But I got shit I gotta get done. I need to eat, and then I need to finish all this shenanigans. So yeah, I will see you all tomorrow if I'm not back today. Don't hurt my brain too much. It hurts right now thinking that I have to go do this, so that's cool. Is this eating thing? Yeah, I haven't eaten yet today, and I went to the gym. My stomach is very mad at me. Oh, I do have to show you this though before I go. I ordered some new cards. Aether Spark, and then that card for Storm. Okay. Now I'm leaving. I'll see you guys later. Maybe. If not, tomorrow. Bye. Sign up for the tournament. Only 2 more people until 52, which is 13 full tables. We're at 50 people right now. Fuck, I gotta do an email for that too. All right, bye.